So we're thinking at 3.10 tonight about ups and downs in life, a bit like some of the gospel stories around the resurrection. And some of us are quite into roller coaster rides and have memorable ones. Some of those go quite fast, some go round and round and round. Some of those have twists and turns or big falls. Mads, I think you had a favorite roller coaster. Could you just tell us which one it is and why you like it?
Yeah, it was the Pepsi Max at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. I just like the feeling of going fast and the adrenaline rush.
And what about you, Lucy?
Mine is Odyssey in Ingemells in Skegness, and that's because of all the hoops and all the bends and the speed.
Okay, thank you. And what about Ronan? I think you had one that you shared.
Yeah, it's called Shikra in Busch Gardens, and because it's got a moment where you stop before you go down the big drop.
Okay, and Isaac, I think you said you like rides, even though you didn't have a memorable ride. What do you like particularly about roller coasters?
Well, particularly, it's just like the adrenaline you get when like you just go down a steep hill and then like everyone's like got their hands in the air and it's just like full of fun.
Great, thank you. Certainly in the gospel stories, Jesus's disciples had anxieties and doubts, but also had good news, and you could liken their life in this post-resurrection phase to a bit like a roller coaster. But we learn also how Jesus settled them down and opened their minds so that they could become his witnesses. And though maybe many of us don't relate to the image of a roller coaster for our life because we're still quite young, we could, as it were, summarize our weeks into various headlines according to what's happened. And maybe for the disciples in the Gospels, they would have said their headline for this particular period was like a roller coaster. But maybe some of our younger people on the meeting can just summarize their headline for the last few days. What about Rebecca? What did you say yours would be?
It's like all the same.
All the same. All the same. And Melanie, I think you had a nice experience this week.
Yes, cheers. Getting back to some kind of normality.
Cool. Okay. And did anybody else have a thought about what their headline might be? Mads, did you have one?
I couldn't think of one. Sorry.
Okay, my apologies. Sorry. Okay. I think mine did feel a bit like an up and down roller coaster, my week this week. So we're all at different stages. And finally, in the midst of the roller coaster, sometimes there are moments when we find peace. And I thought it was interesting for us just to look for a moment about where we find our peace, even in the midst of a storm or in the height of a roller coaster. Rebecca, tell us where you find your peace in your life.
I find it while reading books.
Through reading, great. And Isaac, what about you?
Sorry, what did you say?
Can you tell us where you find your peace?
I don't know. When I'm out on the pitch, like it's just very calming and peaceful, and there's like no stress, no nothing.
Okay, lovely. Thank you, Lucy. Where do you find your peace?
At the sea, the noise is just therapeutic.
Great. Melanie, where do you find your peace?
in quiet, green, open spaces.
Okay, and tell us, Mads, a little bit about where you find peace for yourself.
In praying, in music, in my family, speaking to other people, and I think to add on to that, listening to audiobooks as well.
Okay. And ultimately, we find a peace when we look at Jesus and gain his peace. So thanks for just sharing with us a little bit today.